As part of a strategy to prevent gun violence, the state's funding new efforts by community organizations. One of the initiatives funded early this year was an alternative education and workforce development program run by the Madison Park Development Corporation, a nonprofit based in Roxbury. To tell us about the program are two guests from the corporation, the Community Support Coordinator, Lavell Fulks, and the Opportunity Employment Program Manager, Wilbur. Thank you both for being with us.
Thank you.
I want to start with Lavell because for quite a long time, even before this year, Madison Park has been working with young people at risk for either being victimized by violence or committing acts of violence. What have you accomplished with that so far?
So prior to this particular grant, Madison Park Development has worked with a program through the Department of Public Health. The Boston Public Health Commission is called the Violence Intervention Prevention Program, or VIP. This program's goal is to create spaces in the community where the community can come together, join one another, get to know each other, in hopes of the reduction of violence in the community. The idea is that we build capacity, we build knowledge, and that way we'll build community. So with that, we host events in the community. We do movie nights. We host a national night out, which is a nationally organized event by the community, the Neighborhood Town Watch Association. And so that's the idea, is to bring community members and police together to create relationships, so that way we can reduce the violence. And Madison Park has been doing this for about 8 years now. We've primarily focused in the Roxbury area surrounding the Dudley Triangle. So we have 2 housing developments in our portfolio, Madison Park Village and Orchard Gardens development. And in these 2 developments, we host monthly meetings dealing with public safety, the change in the community with housing, dealing with school issues around substance abuse. And so with all of this work being done, we started to now move towards other activities dealing with violence prevention. So the gun violence prevention grant, which Will is working on. We have a trauma-focused grant through the Boston Children's Hospital to inform the providers that service the youth in our communities about trauma-informed practices, as well as trauma support groups for youth and community members to deal with community violence that has happened.
Wilbur, it sounds like you're trying to interrupt a cycle here.
Yes.
People who are affected by violence around them. How do you make that work?
Wow, with a lot of prayer, for one. But this is something that we've been doing for a while. So when the opportunity came up to apply for the grant, it was like a perfect fit because it's the kind of work that we've already been doing. So our hope is that by introducing young people to positive work opportunities and work experience, as well as encouraging them to pursue their educational assets that they need, that will give them more opportunity. That will give them less time on the street, more time in the classroom, and also another way for them to learn and to earn a livable wage. So I think that by giving them opportunity to earn a livable wage really helps take a step in the right direction.
Lavell, you could have any kinds of barrier here. I mean, you could have academic barriers. You could have a teenager who's got some core problems to sort out. Do you help them with that?
Yeah, so we help with the best of our ability and the best capacity we have. So we try to be resource rich with information, right? So we might not necessarily help someone with the Corey issue, but we know the people to connect them to help them with those issues around Corey. When it comes to youth workforce development, we have our own workforce development program, but we also know that there are some things other youth may need to be involved with to help them with that, to grow in that area. Same thing when it comes to trauma support. We offer a trauma support group in conjunction with some of our partners from Whittier Street Health Center and the JRI program, but we also know that some people may need more than just what we can offer. So we make those referrals and those connections when we can.
This is Spiano News, and we're talking with Lavell Fulks and Wilbur from the Madison Park Development Corporation. Wilbur, one of the main reasons you have this program is to work with young people who've sort of become disconnected from schools. If you think of the cause of the disconnection, how do you help them overcome that?
Well, one of the things that we realized and we've learned through doing this work is that there are a number of different types of barriers that happen that cause young people to drop away from school. Sometimes traditional methods don't work, being in a large classroom. Some people need smaller classroom settings. Some people have different educational needs. So by coming away from the traditional setting, coming to a smaller classroom, and working with instructors who give them more one-on-one individual, time is a help. But I think the thing that helps us the most is we've identified a number of barriers that usually cause young people to have problems in school. You're talking about young people who live in communities that are coming from single parent homes. They're living in violence infested and drug infested neighborhoods. And it's a chore sometimes just to get to school, right? And if you're in school and you're worried about what's happening to mom at home, if you're in school and you're worried about your siblings, you're not going to be able to focus. And if your family doesn't have a lot of money, for you, it's better for me to work. And the list goes on and on about the things that cause barriers. But one of the things we've implemented through the help of the grant is we were able to hire a full-time clinician, licensed clinician who was there to help address some of the mental health barriers that they may have, as well as helping them, connecting them to the resources, as Lavell spoke. The things that we're not able to do as an organization, we're able to connect them to resources that will help them get through the day-to-day things that they face. And by helping address those things and just being loving and caring and supportive, and being a place where they can just feel safe, and a place where they can be vulnerable and not have to worry about how people are going to look at them and not put a lot of pressure on them. And we see that young people are being more successful in the classroom and being more successful going into the workforce.
Lavell, it sounds like it's not just about getting the young people to change their focus, it's about giving them a chance where somebody is focusing on them, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. And the idea is fostering positive relationships, right? Positive adult-youth relationships, positive youth and youth relationships, creating a pipeline so that way our activities can be able to be something that's residual, and it goes through this person into the next person. And that's just by daily interactions, conversations, and being open, just creating that trust.
Wilbur, I know there's still some room for growth here, so if anybody wants to find out about this program, maybe get involved in it, is there a way to follow up on that?
Absolutely. The first line of defense to break through is me. You can call me at Madison Park Development Corporation, and the best way to reach me is through my cell phone, which is, can I say the number?
Sure, absolutely.
It's 617-938-9386. You can call that line to get me directly. But we would also like if you would visit our company website, our organization website, which is madison-park.org, not to be confused with the high school, but madison-park.org. And if you go to that website, you'll find a myriad of opportunities of programming for young folks, as well as some of our adult folks in the community. And there'll be links to the different departments that we have that can give some help to the community.
Thank you both very much, Wilbur Smott and Lavell Fulks from Madison Park Development Corporation.